better step aside. That's Brax is coming in. So we did see Raven versus Pycat, obviously. So we'll see if the Gyrocopter does, in fact, come out, if it's going to be banned.
Yes.
Right now, it's still available as we jump into the draft. But the Razor, another one of those really strong safe lane / mid lane heroes, has been taken away already. And we will see if they do ban this Gyro with the 3rd overall ban for either of these teams.
So the big difference was that TNC picked Gyro 4th overall. Right?
Yes.
They picked it as their last pick in the 2nd phase, while Optic Gaming rushed for it right away. They grabbed the IO and the Gyrocopter instantly.
Yes.
So we can see a bit of a difference between the prioritization there. But, of course, both teams have watched each other's games from yesterday, so they'll see, oh, probably, heavy praise for this hero.
Yeah. We'll see if it's going to be touched. For now, there's other heroes to consider. Obviously, supports. Witch Doctor was picked a lot yesterday. Disruptor actually had a pretty bad day in terms of the win rate that he had. I think he was also picked about 5 or 6 times. He has like a 25% win rate.
Such a weird hero.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot yesterday, where it's like this high-tier hero that a lot of people really value, but you don't want to ban it, and you want to pick it in like the 2nd phase usually. It's a very strange hero.
That's why, right? He's very situationally good. When you're winning the game, you find so many pickoffs with Glimpse. When you're not, well, they're running into you, not away from you.
Yeah. And the hero that he combos up with the most, that, of course, Trent has talked about a lot, is that Naga Siren. The sleep into Static Storm with, of course, the kinetic field to work with.
Oh, we saw a massive Na'Vi comeback yesterday, right? 12K gold.
They almost came back.
Almost. Oh, they brought the game back.
They did bring the game back, that is for sure. But it didn't work out for them. Speaking of the Naga, she is going to be banned out. There is that first pitch Witch Doctor that we talked about a little bit earlier. TNC will grab that, and now Optic have the next 2 choices. They could go for a Gyrocopter, but the IO Gyro opening they went for the last time they played against Virtus Pro, that's been taken away, the IO.
Yep, very true. Still, pretty decent hero, right? It's nice that he doesn't operate as the true win position. You know what I mean? Like, he's always paired up with this sort of a semi-carry physical damage dealer, or at least scaling hero.
Yeah.
Just so that even when he is countered by like a Lifestealer or Juggernaut, for example, speaking of the Gyro, there he is, he still has a chance to play the game, right? He changes his item build. He doesn't go for like that heavy DPS build. He goes for like a tankier style of a build.
Yes.
And then you can outlast some of these counters.
Yeah. So we'll see what they want to pick up in terms of like the actual one position kind of hero for Optic. But they have the Gyrocopter now. They pick up the Bane as well. This is a hero they really enjoy. I think PPD plays it the most, I believe, on the Bane. Yeah. That's just a very strong hero. You've got good lockdown, and Feeble's always nice. Fiend's Grip. But we'll see if they can deal with that now that they have a Puck coming out for TNC. And remember, this Puck was played by Armel yesterday. Despite it being primarily, I think, mostly an off-lane hero now, it was Armel that played it in the mid lane. I'm not sure Sam H will want to play this type of hero.
I've seen him play it in the past for sure, but it's not the go-to hero that I think when I think Sam H.
We talked about the Bat Rider yesterday.
Yeah, Bat Rider, Nyx Assassin, these playmaking heroes that look for all these openings and are just self-sufficient in the off-lane. So let's talk a bit about the Bane. This hero, I would say, it's fallen out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not so popular anymore.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for this team just because of the way Peter plays in general. This hero is very, like, he operates on his own. You know what I mean? He can sit in the trees, set up all these ganks and engagements on his own while still being a threat on the map.
Yeah. He's got a lot of burst damage. You can allow your roaming hero to go and do something else and leave the Bane with the Gyrocopter or whoever he's paired with. He's a very self-sufficient laner in that regard. He has the brain sap, obviously, to work with. So
yep. He makes plays on his own just by camping out in the trees.
Yeah. So they will pick it up with the 2nd pick. And then we have DK banned out in Terrorblade. What do you think about Terrorblade? I don't think we talked about him too much yesterday.
You know, he's been banned in so many games in the 2nd phase. He's a fantastic hero still. He's still like, he's one of these heroes that has a good early game, mid game, and late game.
Yeah.
Right? There have been so many popular heroes for the metas, like Invoker is the biggest example in my mind, where he's fantastic in the late game. So what do? Nerf the early game so you struggle to get to that part of the game where he's actually strong, right?
Yeah.
But you still keep the same concept of the hero alive. You know, he still functions in the exact same way. And then Terrorblade has received so many buffs, like he got extra armor and then health regen to help fix the early game. When he already hits such high power spikes at these other parts of the game, it's just, it's a weird way to balance a hero, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're removing a weakness instead of making it situationally good.
And that feels like historically what Ice Frog has done for a lot of the patches and the balance changes that he's made throughout the years. But you were talking about the HP regen. Of course, they changed it in the last patch in 7.10. I think you were talking about now you can't really jungle at level 5 as easily on the Terrorblade. I think that was what you were mentioning.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh.
I actually disagree with that.
You disagree? Okay.
I think it doesn't make a difference at all.
Oh. Well, he's still a good hero, as you were talking about. Sunder's obviously something you have to worry about.
He just looks cool.
He is. The Arcana, too. Getting the Arcana makes you look pretty sick with that.
Do you place your items in certain slots? You know, just so it's visually pleasing?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Terrorblade does that for you. He's got 2 nullifiers.
Perfect. Good stuff, Terrorblade. So now we'll get back into the picks, though. It is Tiny, picked up by Optic. This is another hero we saw a lot of yesterday. Hit or miss. We've seen it do wonders. He's got Tree Grab. He can thwack you. He's pretty good in lane because of the Tree Grab, despite the nerf that they gave him.
Yep.
He's just a good burst hero in general. And like you mentioned yesterday, he can grow up through the game, so it's always exciting to see that.
It's very important to understand what he goes through in life. You know, helps you get attached to the hero a bit more. But in the games he did lose yesterday, I'm not sure if he did win a game yesterday, but I remember we casted 2 games in particular where he did happen to lose. He still had a lot of impact in the game, right? He pressured his lane extremely hard, was able to make plays. Looked like a good hero. Overall.
The thing I noticed about the Tiny was the tossbacks. There were a lot of them, not just by the Tiny himself, but Morphling also.
That's right.
Coming back as Tiny. RTZ played it beautifully for EG in that pain game. That was just a silly Morphling game for RTZ, let me tell you.
Yep, it was very wonky.
So, but instead of the Tiny now, we have Tusk on the TNC side. This hero has seemed to be one of the dominant 4-position roaming supports, I would say. But he's played in a way that he doesn't need that many items, I think.
Right, items. He doesn't scale too well.
Exactly.
Right. Purely a utility hero, damage output, not really there. It's reliant on the other heroes, which is fine. They have Witch Doctor and Puck. Lots of damage between these heroes. But yeah, he's a pretty good hero.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that really enjoy the 4-position Tusk being played or the roaming Tusk being played. I don't know if he was changed particularly too much in the last patch, but I think this is a strong roamer. I think he's still pretty good. What do you think, Brax?
Yeah, he's still very strong, especially ganking in the mid lane. The ramp is so thin that when you ice shard it, it blocks it off completely.
Yeah.
So these vulnerable heroes like Shadow Fiend, who need some time to scale up, they get picked on. All right, Nyx Assassin comes out.
That'll be for Optic. So this is a hero that we saw TNC play for Tim's yesterday. Now Optic will grab it instead, and they will have the Nyx to work with. So you have Bane, Nyx, probably your support duo, Tiny maybe in the offlane, Gyro probably in your safe lane, I would say.
I would assume so. It's a pretty important pick here for TNC because they've shown this puck core who can be played in the offlane as well as the mid lane, right? Out comes the Nyx Assassin from Optic Gaming. Now TNC have to reveal where this hero goes, essentially.
Yeah. Well, we'll see with this next pick, next 2 picks, in fact. They have plenty of reserve time. A lot of fast drafts so far. In this particular tournament. And it will be the Life Stealer, which works really well with both the Puck as well as the Tusk, the Infest bombs coming out. Something that actually Mineski played when TNC were playing them yesterday. They will grab it for themselves this time.
Yep, Life Stealer very good against the Gyrocopter. Rage avoids all the magic damage from him, and he's a hero that can just get on top of the Gyro and sit down and focus him. Also not affected by Nyx Assassin, unless Nyx carapaces before Life Stealer infests. Then when he comes out, he just gets stunned instantly and can't reach.
Yeah, and the thing is also the Nyx is now forced to not go for the Vendetta hit. You could try for it, but it's just safer to go for the Impale if you're trying to gank the Life Stealer, which is tough to do to begin with.
It is tough to just land the Impale out of the Vendetta without the attack or anything like that. But it's a way to deal with them. It's not so bad. They also have the Bane Fiend's Grip to help lock down Life Stealer and reach. So TNC, they need to decide where to put this puck, most likely. I would assume it's going to be in the offlane because mid players do not want to play puck against Nyx Assassin because he just comes your lane and mana burns you.
It was different last game for TNC when they had the puck and the Nyx Assassin. They don't have that luxury this time around.
Exactly. He'll be receiving that treatment this time around.
Mana burn's no fun for that puck, and we'll see what they will do in terms of if he does go offlane, who are they going to put in the mid lane for TNC? I would have said DK, but that, of course, is not available. It's been banned out. It's a hero that I think is still pretty strong. So.
There's also a big problem if they do decide to put the puck mid lane, then the puck can get heavily counterpicked. The Dragonite has already been banned out, but heroes like Timbersaw against puck is probably one of the worst matchups in the game.
Yeah.
Like, puck doesn't do enough magic damage to Timber to kick him out of lane. Even when people come to gank, it's just not enough at all.
Yeah. So
very big, important pick for TNC.
Yeah, they're taking all their time.
Something that's very stable, so you don't hit one of these big counter picks.
We'll see what else is available. Anything coming to your brain right now in terms of TNC's last pick?
Let me just look at the bans real quick. I mean, there's no real mid heroes being banned out outside of the DK. What do we have?
Shadow Fiend.
Okay.
The old standby.
Okay.
We only saw him once yesterday. It was Miracle who had a fantastic game on that particular Shadow Fiend. So we'll see if they can have the same sort of game for Armel. I would assume Armel is going to be playing the Shadow Fiend in this particular matchup.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most fun heroes to watch in the game. Shadow Fiend, just so satisfying.
Yeah.
Except we used to see Shadow Fiend hit jungle creeps for about 15 minutes. That wasn't too much fun.
That wasn't fun.
This is a whole different era of Shadow Fiend. This guy wants to kill.
The added damage from the raises is always nice. They did nerf that in the last patch, by the way, so it's a little bit less damage for the stacked Shadow raises. Something to consider.
It makes a big difference at level 1. when Shadow Fiend would land all 3 raises and take out like 60% of the guy's health.
So, and that's the issue also, is that the Shadow Fiend might not have the best auto attack damage early on to the game, but you can definitely get some raises off for sure. Yep. And that's been now nerfed a little bit. So
I'm curious to see what Optic want to put against the Shadow Fiend, because it is the Tusk that can also roam in to set up these raises as well.
And it is going to be the Templar Assassin for Optic.
Well, this hero doesn't care about getting sharded in or snowballed on at all with the refraction charges.
Refraction is going to be pretty nice for CCNC in this particular game. It's a great 5th pick. It's a hero we see not too commonly, but it's got its place, I think, in the meta currently.
Yeah. So do you think, where do you think this Bane's going to start? You know, he could go mid and enfeeble Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, he could.
Or just sit there and trade clicks with him forever, because Tusk is not going to be able to mirror the Shadow Fiend or the Bane's movement at all. There's no help for him.
Yeah.
This could potentially be a disastrous start for Shadow Fiend.
The enfeeble for the Bane is pretty nice. It's hard to pass up in that mid lane, and I don't think the Gyro is going to need help against Sam H in the beginning of the game. He could just Rocket Barrage him, spam the homing missile if he wants to as well. So
yeah.
I think Pycat's going to be fine. He doesn't have the IO to fall back on. I don't know that he needs it. The 3-3 Tiny is very exciting. And you and I talked about this, the lane swaps from Optic with 3-3 now playing the offlane and Zai playing more of a support role. They were kind of experimenting with that at the last major, and it's seeming to come full circle now here at this particular major. So
yeah, I think this is what they'll end up with. It's quite difficult to make the transition between these roles so suddenly, especially in the middle of all these big tournaments. You know, you got to get in your comfort zone.
And we'll see how it goes for 3-3 on that Tiny. We've seen a lot of Tiny. We haven't seen the games we casted. We didn't see him win, but I think this could be the game changer. I don't know. Who are you favoring as we get into the game, Brax?
Ooh, I like Optic's lineup a lot in this game, actually.
Yeah.
I think that their lane setup is in the right place. You have the Templar Assassin up against the Shadow Fiend, and then you also have the stronger, like, potential roaming hero. You know, Tusk doesn't actually do anything to Templar Assassin, but if Bane comes in, or if you know, anyone else happens to come by mid lane, I feel like they can do a lot. Makes a big difference.
And you know how I feel about Gyrocopter.
You're a big fan of that.
Big fan of the Gyrocopter. But we'll see if it works out for Pycat yet again. Again, he had a great game yesterday on the hero. Of course, he had the IO played by Zai. He won't have that available this time around. We will start the game off with a TNC 5-man smoke moving across the river just to get some wards down potentially. They have a ward on Tim's, just try to make sure they can get some vision up and around the map. And we will see where they head next. Also going 5-man is Optic. They haven't smoked up, but they're going to try to get some vision in the enemy jungle, perhaps block one of these camps. We'll see if they decide to do that or if they just want to get a ward down and get some vision. They already placed one pretty close to the lane down in the bottom lane, but it looks like neither of these teams will meet. They're just going to drop some vision and get back to their runes and maybe contest there.
How do you feel about Lifestealer as a hero?
I like when he has a vehicle. I also liked when he had a Magnus to help propel him and get more farm, because that Battle Fury build's not really a thing anymore, I feel like. But he needs to make those armlet infest ganks work at the beginning of the game. When he gets that armlet, whenever hero gets a blank dagger, he could start falling off. In this game, it can be kind of tough. I like TA against Raven to a certain extent, so I don't know. I'm not sold on it for TNC for Raven.
He is not the most stable of heroes, right? He's very momentum based when you get that armlet, and you have to run around and get those infest ganks going off. When it does happen, it looks real nice.
Yeah.
And it looks good, but if you ever like get Carapace out of the infest, for example, and just happen to die, it could be catastrophic.
Yeah, and then you just lose all your momentum that you have on that hero. It just goes by the wayside. We will see the TA starting here. CCNC looks to be alone for now. He does have tiny 3-3 rotating bottom, and the Bane is, I think, already sitting down bottom with the Tiny, so he's not going to be going for the Enfeeble in the mid lane on Armel.
Okay. I'll be honest, I think the Enfeeble's a little overrated. Sometimes just trading hits offers a lot more pressure, especially with the brain set, because a lot of these support heroes, or just weaker mid heroes like Shadow Fiend early on, don't want to trade hits at all. And you can do a lot more that way.
I do like the TA against the Shadow Fiend, somebody that can do pretty well in the early game. You get Refraction, you get a lot of last hits, you kind of shut down the SF in the beginning of the game. We'll see if that's going to happen here for CCNC. But so far it's pretty even. It's not too bad for either side. Tim's has rotated in, and now CCNC might be in trouble. He pops the Refraction. They will take it off, though. He pops the Fairy Fire, looking to get the kill onto Armel, but CCNC should fall, and he will. That's first blood going the way of the Shadow Fiend, and that is 12 stacks of Necromastery now on the SF, so...
Yep, this is one of these matchups that swings heavily in either hero's favor really quickly. Once the SF gets a kill, gets those souls up so we can still last hit during the refraction. And if Templar Assassin happens to kill Shadow Fiend, then well, she gets those boots way faster, and you can start to pressure him even more. But Armel is off to a fantastic start thanks to that gank.
That is a huge kill. I mean, SF can kind of struggle against TA like you were talking about, but I think that with that kill, it's going to set him up nicely for the mid-stage of this game, for this mid-stage of the laning phase. So. But we will have PPD down bottom using the Enfeeble on Raven early, so some minus damage coming out, making it a little bit harder for Raven to CS. He's only at 4 last hits compared to 3-3's 5, now up to 6, and of course the tree grab helps a lot in that regard for Optic.
Yeah, it does, but look at how Lifestealer can play in this lane. Raven's just running at him, clicking him down. Tiny has 0 armor with an extremely high health pool, so the Feast does a ton of damage.
Yeah. This is where PPD needs to help out a little bit. But Cuckoo will take a couple of auto attacks and then a tree toss, and get to half HP. He does have 5-6 to work with, and now it looks to be
not again.
CCNC maybe dead. He popped the refraction. The ice shards will actually miss. The snowball coming in. This still is a bit of trouble. The raise comes down. It's the double raise that gets the job done for Armel.
Oh man, and CCNC just TP. Actually, his TP is going to be back up, so he won't have to make the long walk of shame back to mid lane.
I feel like I've seen this movie before, Brax. Yesterday with CCNC on that Storm Spirit.
Yep.
But again, they won that game, so we'll see. Maybe he can come back. He is a TA. You can always farm the jungle. You can get some stacks up at the Ancients. Something to consider, but it's still a bit of a rough start for this TA at the beginning of this game.
It's definitely not ideal. Templar Assassin's a hero that likes to play from ahead. Likes to play with an advantage, so you can pressure these objectives like Roshan, so you can scale and snowball really hard into the game, but with a start like this, it's going to be extremely difficult. Going to need a lot of jungle stacks to help with that.
Yeah, but because the TA is having such a rough time, Armel is, of course, having a great time. He's got his full Aquila. His boots will come soon. In the meantime, Peter just trying to steal some creeps away from Raven.
Yep, snags the tomato.
Yeah, the Hellbear Smasher, the clap that he's got, one of the best creeps in that regard in terms of the animation. There are so many funny creeps in the game. We always talk about the Ogre Frost Mage, but Hellbear's definitely up there.
Thunderclap animation is so good. So,
it's a slight advantage for TNC, but it's still the laning phase. We haven't really talked about the puck in the offlane. He only has 3 CS. In the meantime, the Cask will come out down bottom, and 3-3 might be in trouble. They use the Ice Shards. They've rotated in the Tusk by Tim's. Avalanche will come out, keeping 3-3 alive for now, but he can't really go anywhere, and they had a Maledict on him as well, which means that Cuckoo will secure the kill with that last hit of it. That's a very nice pickup in stopping 3-3 from getting a little bit more farm down in this bottom lane. But in the meantime, Sam H is forced back as Zai has been all over him with that mana burn.
Everywhere Tusk goes, he's able to find a kill or pressure. Right? He's killed mid twice, killed bottom as well, and now he's just hovering around the mid lane, looking to make something happen.
I think they might have spotted Tim's rotation. They will send the illusions, and that might scout him out, but CCNC doesn't seem to be too aware. And here comes Cuckoo as well, but Zai is also rotating it at the same time.
Yep, those illusions scattered Cuckoo out on low ground, so should be okay.
Yeah, CCNC's going to back all the way up.
But look at this. Tim's is wrapping around from the top side.
Cask is going to go. There's the snowball along with it. They take off the refraction. Ice Shards miss yet again, and now CCNC will be able to back up and away. So a lot committed for that fight. Both supports coming in for TNC. This time they don't bring CCNC down. Good news for Optic.
Yeah, very good news. It would have been horrible to lose their Templar Assassin yet again because they just can't help him. Right? There's nothing they can really do from the support staff to offset this advantage.
And we already see the stacks. This is not. This is what we were talking about. The SF jungling for a little while using the Necromaster, or excuse me, the Shadow Raises to work with, but there's a lot of stacks coming in, and we'll see them probably take a fair bit of farm.
Yep, this is a tough lane for Sam H. It's so annoying when you're playing these intelligence offlane heroes and you just get mana burned over and over. You just can't do anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, PPD down bottom getting run at. They have found a nice pickup. They actually smoked for this kill, and they will find the Brain Sap coming in, but PPD is dead one way or the other. The snowball will come through. Raven wanted the last hit, but of course he was enfeebled, so he does pretty much no damage. Still, though, they will secure it with Tim's getting the last hit.
Yep, Raven raising his taunt per minute stat.
He's got the dance, the break dance of the Life Stealer.
It's great.
Working on treads. So yeah, the big thing that you were talking about, Sam H, he is having a very rough time. He's actually trying to pull the wave, but CCNC has rotated and he's actually doing a lot of damage, but
it's quite awkward for the mid lane Templar Assassin to catch the creep cutting puck.
Yeah. So neither of them really getting farm now. Sam H has pulled 2 creep waves up in the top lane too. Meanwhile, Cask on the PPD, they have Tim's rotating in. There's the Maledict, the snowball coming through. They should have the Ice Shards. Good Nightmare though. That might keep him alive. Ice Shards, he guesses wrong. He thought it was going to go to the right. Instead, he heads back over to the mid lane, and PPD will survive because of it. In the meantime, the puck did TP out back towards his shrine for Sam H.
But he double waved it.
He has a giant wave coming because of the double wave. I mean, it's huge. And that will get him at least a little bit of experience.
So the stack department on Optic's side is not looking so hot.
No.
Not at all.
And that's what you can fall back on with this Gyrocopter as well as the TA. Meantime, they will secure a kill onto PPD. A nice couple of races there. The snowball behind the tower is I use the Spike Carapace, good double and Pale. And now CCNC is in. He wants Cuckoo. They've rotated in the Gyro, who's now level 6. This is when he wants to fight, and they will secure themselves a kill onto Cuckoo with CCNC getting the last hit.
That TP from Pycat, it's so necessary to stop that aggression coming out from TNC, but you really want the Shadow Fiend when you make the core rotation like that, for sure.
They're going to try again, though. They're going to smoke up one more time. And you're right about the SF. I mean, he is almost 1,000 ahead of the Gyrocopter. He is super far ahead for Armel, and he's going to get even further ahead as he takes these camps.
This is really smart, though.
Yeah. If they can find him in the jungle, but it looks like they're going to head to a different direction. They might go bottom instead and try to find Raven. Not an easy kill, but they have 3-3 here. There's the Toss Avalanche combination. Raven's got to run.
He's so low.
He still has the Rage, which is nice, but the Impale comes from around the corner of the tree line. He didn't see it coming, and that will secure Zai the kill. Nice gank, but again, it's not the SF. Something to consider. And now the SF himself has smoked up as well with Cuckoo right next to him. If they want to try to find a fight here, they can. Level 4 Witch Doctor. He's got Cask level 2 and Maledict level 2. They'll drop a ward down. They'll see 3-3. Here comes the Cask. It is going to bounce. They found 3-3. The Raise, once they've hit the Maledict, he's getting low. And Raven, great Impale from Zai, but 3-3 still in trouble with the Maledict. It might take him down. I think it will. He's up to 11 HP. It's so close. He will get dropped. And that is a nice pickup for Cuckoo. Good smoke and getting involved in a nice pick off there.
Yeah, still, that was a pretty good smoke gank from Optic, right? They make him play mid lane, don't get the target they want, but then immediately they smoke up, make him move down towards the bottom lane. But TNC doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, they've got the Ice Shards, the Raise. The Refraction will go and it'll keep him alive for now. The Spike Carapace, the Impale, but he avoids it with the Snowball, and CCNC getting cast up and dropped down by another Shadow Raise of Armel. He is getting gigantic, up to 33 souls. He has treads, and he's about to get a full drum for Armel on this SF.
It's a sad life in the mid lane for a Templar Assassin player. Don't look at the net worth, it's ugly.
No, we don't want to show that. And they have no stacks in the jungle like you were talking about, at least none that I can find.
That's the big problem, the no stacks. Right? I guess it is dangerous to stack because when Shadow Fiend has such a big advantage in this lane, he can just casually walk in there and take them himself.
Yeah. So they're going to have to rely on Pycat, make some space with this hero. He is working on his drum now. He's got Phase Aquila done, but the good news is that they've stopped Sam H from farming.
That's true. Sam H still can't really do anything level 5 at the moment. There's a bit of an awkward conflict in the Optic gaming lineup. TA needed to do well in the lane phase this game because they have two heroes that want these big fat stacks, Gyrocopter and Templar Assassin.
There's a bit of a dive coming out from Sam H and Tim's.
This is one awkward dive.
Yeah, they've dropped the Frozen Sigil, though, and that means that they should be able to get out. Sam H is enfeebled, probably won't be able to go for anything here. Goes for the Avalanche, but it's not really going to end in anything. He's going to be able to lose your orb away and get out of trouble. Although PPD is on the hunt with a Brain Sap, but Sam H should be fine. Down bottom, the call down will go. They have found Cuckoo yet again. He does get the Cask off, and Raven, they're going to come in with the Snowball as well with Tim's rotating in. Pycat going for the TP, and he might actually survive this. He will. He's able to get out. Zai, he's going to go for the TP as well. They have no Snowball, no way to stun. They TP'd right in front of them. Raven, he just taunts anyways. He's still feeling good about this game, let me tell you, Brex.
It's important to keep your taunt per minute stat up quite high. It's an undiscovered stat so far.
We need to get it on the stat chart or the net worth chart kind of thing.
I'll let Nahaz know about this one.
Death Ward coming out. They have found the Bane. PPD can't get the Brain Stop off in time. That means he is going to fall. He does drop a ward up in the Uber Cliff, but still they will be able to take him down.
Yep, 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes with no towers being taken. That is huge.
It's really this SF. That's the big part of this lead.
Yep, it's purely the laning advantage. I mean, look at this. Shadow Fiend almost doubling up the net worth in the mid lane. Ridiculous.
So how do you deal with him? You need maybe the blink on the Tiny, something along those lines, but he's not going to get there anytime soon.
Right. Honestly, you just need to get your own items. You can't really stop him at this point in the game. You just need to get to where you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, if CCNC can find a Desolator, he can start doing some real damage, or a Blink Dagger. Tim's is going to get caught with the drop from the Toss. They will Nightmare Cuckoo, and Cuckoo might just be the martyr for the cause yet again. Avalanche will go. They get off a couple of side blades from CCNC with a Melt Strike. That will secure the kill. Cask and Maledict now on the Tiny, but 3-3 should be fine this time.
Yep, he looks okay. Raindrops, 1 should be fine.
So again, getting items on your big cores, your TA. She's going to get treads just in a moment here. In the meantime, a call down just for farming for Pycat, just trying to get a little bit more, get to that drum. With that drum, though, that's the big item where you can start roaming around the map and fighting, along with the call down. Nightmare top lane. No Fiend's Grip yet, but they have the Impale. They've got the Brain Set coming in. It's just not enough damage, but he can't jump away. And the Avalanche comes through because of, like you mentioned, no mana for Sam H. And they finally bring down this slippery Puck.
Nicely done. It's a miserable time, right? Puck's laning against these heroes that he can't kill with Coil. Nobody can really gank them because Puck is solo level.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst scenarios for an off-lane Puck. That's why he's very situationally good.
The good news is the rest of his team is doing well, but
that's true.
You don't want to let this Optic team back into the game. By the way, this tower in the mid lane, the tier 1 for the Dire, is at 92 HP.
Oh, man.
CCNC, come on, buddy. No. Unfortunate. This is probably going to get taken here in a moment unless CCNC... Looks like he might go for it now. Or they could just push this with Armel. And Cuckoo's running in too. They might find a kill actually on CCNC if he's not careful. The Snowball will come in. There's the Death Ward. It's going to break the refraction, but he's able to fog Cuckoo. And now Cuckoo's on the run. He'll drop the homing missile in along with the side trap, which will hit. And Cuckoo needs to try to get out, but this is tough. The homing missile to call down the rocket barrage, and Cuckoo is dead. Can he deny? He cannot. Pycat will get the last hit. Meanwhile, the puck comes in. He went for the Dream Coil. Did they get the tower, or was it denied?
They got the tower.
They got the tower. So, unfortunate for Optic.
Yep, indeed. Well, luckily for Optic, once Tiny picks up any sort of ability item, he can still blow up Shadow Fiend, Templar Assassin, same thing, right?
He's actually getting really close. 1,800 gold on this Tiny.
Yeah, there we go.
When you get that item, maybe go for a smoke. They will also have Fiend's Grip on the Bane, a very big ultimate in this particular game.
There are a lot of heroes that can't show on the map once Tiny picks up the Blink Dagger. Like, Puck can no longer play like this in the offlane, and Puck's still pretty far away from his Blink Dagger. I mean, look at this. PPD's just camping him out top lane.
He's got the Nightmare. He can go for a Fiend's Grip here if they want it, and they will. They will go for the Fiend's Grip. They've got the tree grab ready. They've got the Avalanche Toss combination. They will use both of them to secure the kill. Nice usage of that first Fiend's Grip coming in for Optic, and that will get almost to the gold amount that 3-3 needs for that Blink Dagger.
Very nice gank dodge from CCNC, playing out in the trees.
You know, despite those early 3 deaths in this game for CCNC, he's starting to come back nicely. He's right behind the Tiny. He's ahead of the Puck. They've got a Courier Snipe as well from Zai with the Vendetta. It's a full Yasha along with the Armlet coming out too. That is significant. My God.
Yeah. While the lane phase wasn't fantastic for TA, still, the game hasn't accelerated into a point where he has no space to farm, right? There's still room. Gyrocopter's very strong. He's been making rotations. They actually shifted the Gyrocopter into the bottom lane to lane against the Lifestealer, and he's been able to, you know, push him out a couple times, so they've been making moves to find space, and with that Courier Snipe, they'll buy themselves some more time as well.
I mean, they've only taken one tier 1 for TNC. It's the mid lane getting dropped down. You still have your safe lane. You still have your bottom lane tower as well to work with. And they're going to try to find more here. Avalanche Toss, they found Sam H. The Vendetta hit. They blow him away with the Brain Sap hitting at the exact same time. Tim's has the Lifestealer inside of him, though. They might try to take a fight. They found the Nightmare onto Cuckoo. They might lose 2 here. The Impale will come through, and they will get a couple of thwacks with that tree and get the kill. But now the reinitiation coming in from Tim's. There's the toss-up. They're going to try to find Tim's. The Boar's Punch comes out. 3-3 in trouble, and Armel rotating in as well. They pop the Rage. 3-3 try for the TP, but the double raise will be enough damage to get the kill, and now it's time to leave if you are CCNC and the rest of Optic. They're trying to get out, but CCNC getting slowed by that Frozen Sigil. They might be able to find another Snowball in 3 seconds, and Ice Shards in 1. CCNC is in a lot of trouble, and I think he might just be dead. They have the dust ready, so that Meld Strike will not do anything. He's going to try to fight Tim's, but the silence comes out from the Puck as he jumps in with the Illusory Orb, and they will find themselves CCNC. In fact, they get 2 for TNC, so perhaps a bit of over-aggression from Optic, and it turns into, I believe, a 2 for 2 at the end of it.
I don't think they're expecting the Lifestealer to be inside of Tusk there at all. What do you think Nake's bombs? You think, oh, you know, Puck. Pretty standard, right? But
yeah.
In the Tusk.
And we're ready to go. That's why they turned on to Tim's, I'm pretty sure. They were ready to fight him, but not the Lifestealer, so
yep, they're a little confused. What's he doing?
Yeah. Cuckoo walks narrowly by the Dire Courier, can't find it. They'll drop a sentry, and Zai almost walked into it. Instead, he will head over and find Tim's walking up the stairs. The dust comes out, and it does hit him, but do they know where he is? They do. They use the Ice Shards. They miss. Zai is on the run. He's a hunted man at this point, but he will get some good vision down deep. Yep. He still has his TP to work with as well, and they have heroes coming in like PPD to help him out, and they will smoke up and maybe try to make something happen in this top lane.
More space being created. Dodges the entire TNC team. Gets a nice deep ward down.
I like this. They're waiting for a TP down bottom as Pycat is pushing in the tier 1 tower, but I think if you're TNC, you might just be happy with a trade here. In fact, they've already taken the tier 1 tower on the top lane. It's pretty much dead.
Yep, both teams are making essentially the exact same play, and they know that this is not a safe place at all. So, just going to trade towers for now.
Yeah. But it's going to give Pycat some more farm. Obviously, he's still behind Armel, but he's getting some farm of his own. And it's going to be that first item BKB that you and I have talked about so much.
Yep, we've got the drum as the filler item. Got some small items that do add up. The Aquila wand. Oh man, but that Shadow Fiend net worth is through the roof at the moment. Look at his farm, and that's with the Yasha dead on the courier.
He's got an SNY done as soon as that Yasha comes out. And but the good news for Optic is he's a Pinata. But Armel is going to be tough to bring down. TNC, they're in a really good spot, but they have lost their net worth lead. It was once a 3,000 lead. It is now down to pretty much nothing. Less than 1K advantage for this TNC side, but we'll see if they can't take a fight now with this newly minted SNY from Armel on the Shadow Fiend.
I think Optic Gaming are very happy with how this game is shaped out so far, especially with the start they've been given. I mean, Templar Assassin stealing away these ancient stacks. The game has slowed down to a pace where they're just content with farming. They can play the map and look for these pickoffs.
Now the Death Ward coming in. CCNC is melded, but they will come in. He gets the blink off in time, the newly minted blink that he just purchased up, but Armel will pop the drum charge, trying to chase. The Maledict is there. Should have the cast pretty soon. The double race coming out. They just need 1 or 2 more auto attacks. He melds up again, but he will not survive. It's Armel getting the kill. A good attempt. In the meantime, they do Fiend's Grip the puck in the top lane, and it's more farm for this Gyrocopter and the rest of Optic Gaming. But now
CCNC's pulling out one of the oldest strategies in the book. This is called the distraction. Right, the real carry.
We saw Dendy do it yesterday.
He did. And then, you know, you come back later on into the game. It's a delayed start.
All right.
Happens all the time.
They're looking for a fight top. They have found Zai. He's going to Vendetta up. Snowball coming in. Should not hit, and it won't. They will use the dust. The Ice Shard's coming in.
Shards.
Good TP, but he might not be able to make it out with the Walrus Punch hitting him. He definitely will not be able to make it out. Now that the Tusk is level 8, he has the Walrus Punch to fall back on, and you can't really do that TP in front of the enemy's strat that Optic has been going for the past few times.
Yep, that one's been countered. There's another stun in the game.
So, we have some items coming out now for Raven. He has picked up the Armlet, which of course was on the courier, so he hasn't had it for a while. Now he has the Yasha to work with as well.
Raven's farm is actually extremely far behind in comparison to the Gyrocopter.
I mean, 3-3 is starting to come online with this Blink Dagger. He's up to 2,000 gold. CCNC, of course, we've talked about at length, and then Gyrocopter is doing great. So it's really just Armel's going to have to do some work and maybe get some Infest ganks coming with this Lifestealer and the Tusk, or whoever they want to use. But for now, they're just going to take the Tier 2 tower on the top lane. The Glyph will go, but it doesn't look like Optic are too intent on defending this.
No, this is just dead. Well, Optic do have some item timings coming out. Gyrocopter just picked up the BKB. So that'll help secure some of these mid-game fights. But still, he needs more to actually go toe-to-toe with the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, needs the damage, and that will come in the form of a Butterfly, which is his next item that he's queued up. And there is the Shadow Blade for this Tiny.
Very nice.
They have a lot of detection because of the meld for CCNC. So something to consider. But,
yeah, the meld and the Nyx Vendetta
yeah, exactly.
Around.
Sentries on Cuckoo, as you can see there. And now finally Sam H has the Blink Dagger. He's finally gotten there. He's ready to go.
He is online.
I think it's time for TNC to fight with this. They'll try to make something happen, I would imagine, with this Blink Dagger.
I think they still need to wait for Shadow Fiend's BKB before they look for any of these larger scale team fights. For pickoffs, they're fine. They'll keep farming, pushing out these waves and looking for these ganks, but it's pretty difficult for them to play that sort of a game against the Nyx Assassin. And even Templar Assassin traps can be placed in jungle camps just randomly in the middle of lanes to scout some of these movements out.
The vision game is going to be tough for TNC to deal with. But they have held on to this Tier 1 tower on the top lane, so they're not losing complete map control. They will smoke as the homing missile hits him. And so Tim's is now no longer part of the smoke. And 3-3 is Shadow Blade. He's about to break the smoke. They'll drop a sentry. 3-3 walks in. Armel is there. The Avalanche hits. So does the cast. Now coming in. CCNC thinking about trying to fight this. There's going to be the Dream Coil. The Infest Bomb. 3-3 is going to go for the TP. They've got the Fiend's Grip. They will lose one. They might lose two. It's going to be close here. They will get PPD out for the time being. Armel is nightmared up. 3-3 is ready to shrine up, and now the shrine is done. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade across the board as they lose Cuckoo on the TNC side. CCNC on the high ground. The Ice Shards come in. Now Pycat has to BKB TP. He is in trouble. One more auto attack, and he's going to fall. That's a big kill for TNC, and they want more. Tims will go ahead with the Snowball. Can't find anybody. PPD TPing out. He will make it away, but losing that gyro, huge for TNC to find that pickup.
A big momentum swing. I mean, Optic knew they smoked and everything. They saw it in front of them, but they thought that they could bait it on the high ground. 3-3 had the Shadow Blade available, but TNC, you're talking about the detection game. They got to
that Snowball was so close. And they lost Sam H across the map as Tiny gets the toss out of a combo, I'm assuming, to get the kill.
Wow. This game's a bloodbath.
Uh-oh, Zai has walked into a sentry. He will spike Carapace. Raven, of course, does not care about this as he has the rage going, and Raven just chews him up. And the taunt comes out. TNC looking good, Brax. This Shadow Fiend is still deathless in this game.
Yep, and he's about to... Does he have BKB yet? I think he's
100 gold away.
Okay. So yeah, good luck killing him when he gets that, right?
Yeah,
that's when it's all dependent on getting the jump on this hero, which they do have good heroes for.
They just have so much magic damage, but not enough physical from this TA yet. CCNC is very close to the Desolator, which will help, but...
Yeah, that's when Roshan becomes a takeable objective that TNC will have to always worry about.
So...
It's definitely what they need, right? Give this TA an Aegis, gives her a way back into the game.
Get some extra space for farming.
Yep. And then just frees up some of these team fights where you can jump in to, you know, trade your Aegis for like a Witch Doctor kill, for example, to set up a team fight that way.
Yeah.
Lets you play much more aggressively.
In spite of how much farm Armel has, TNC still have less than 1k advantage, so this game is within reach for both of these teams.
The big farm difference besides the mid lane is in the offlaners, right? 33 has about the full Shadow Blade's worth of net worth over the puck.
Ooh, that is a double damage rune. They're going to walk right into it, and Pycat might grab it, and he will.
Man.
This is the perfect time to fight, but CCNC is about to get jumped out. He actually blinks away in time. They might want to set something up here. If you're Optic, they can run right in, and they have no rage to work with as well. I'm not sure if Optic are going to be able to get there in time. They might find Sam H into the Roche pit. He's going to use the Illusory Orb. He might be able to jaunt his way through, and now TNC know that something is happening. PPD has been kind of cut off with the rest of his team. Zai's about to walk into a sentry. They haven't revealed it yet.
Awkward.
Another sentry will reveal that there is a sentry here, but they will deward that sentry. The sentry battle continues, and now Optic will not want to risk anything, and they will back it up.
Oh man, unable to find the fight opening with the double damage on the Gyrocopter. Could have been huge, but at least they have their items now, right? Templar Assassin, Blink Deso online. Should be good.
They're starting to feel a little more confident as they push into the mid lane. They want to force this tier 2 tower. This will respond with TNC coming across from their shrine up into the high ground. Tim's is ready to go. They have infested inside Sam H. And now Optic, they need to be wary, and they will back themselves up. And TNC will clear out this mid wave and move together as a team.
Even though both teams are making movements together, right, there's always one hero that's still farming. On the side of TNC, you have Armel Shadow Fiend, always on the sidelines, keeping these lanes out, pressuring. And then Optic, same thing with the Templar Assassin, but look at this. Taking away Roshan.
They're going to head for Roche, but there's a ward that spotted out, I think, the Illusory Orb and Armel walking into it, so I'm not sure if Optic can get in position to try to fight this. They've already used the flag cannon from the Gyrocopter, and I think this is just going to be TNC's Roche.
Optic knows.
It's going to be close. Roche is getting very low, but Zai's going to walk in. They've got the call down coming through. 3-3 is in there. They've got a great impale. They're going to get one. They might get two. Did they get the Aegis? It's going to be snatched by Armel, and now 3-3 is in trouble. He's going to get dropped down. A 2-for-2 trade. Pycat needs to back up. They're going to snowball and look for PPD. They will find another support getting dropped down. That's a double kill for Raven. They don't get the Roche kill, but they get the next most important thing, and that is, of course, the Aegis. In fact, probably the most important thing in this engagement.
God. The fight gets so tense around the Roshan, especially in these best of ones. I always want to highlight that because it's important, right? Team's doing Roshan, you don't know how low it is. You have no way to check. There's no Templar Assassin trap inside the Roche pit to actually scout and see what's going on. You just kind of have to run in there. I mean, look at how this starts off. 33 blinks in, Zai walks in, but Pycat can't get in the fight. He drops the call down, but that's about it.
He didn't have flag cannon to work with. That's a lot of his damage just gone, and there's no way he wants to just go in there and use his 10-second BKB for that type of fight.
Yep. And with the Shadow Fiend, that full HP popping his BKB like that, it's not like Gyro's going to be able to tear through him without the magic damage anyways, so doesn't really make a difference, honestly.
So now what do you do if you have this Aegis for the Shadow Fiend? Do you try to push and take some more objectives here at this point?
Yeah. Now he can play like this fearless frontliner where he just sits and hits the buildings, and then now the enemy team has to respond to this pressure. I mean, look at his items. He's really taking it up now.
And he's trying to find another kill for himself, too, on PPD. The homing missile will come out onto Tim's. He's rather tanky himself, but the Brain Sap comes in. Pycat looking for the kill. The call down will come, but now they're turning it around. The cast will come in. They got the double raise for Armel, which is more than enough for a kill, and Zai is also in trouble. The Death Ward, the Snowball, he is done. The Illusory Orb, 2 dead for Optic. Both supports dropped yet again, and now TNC getting more and more map control and trying to maybe pressure this tier 2 along with those kills.
Well, that's the green light. 2 free pickoffs in front of the mid tower. Go time.
It is indeed. And there's not much I think Optic can do dealing with this SF Aegis.
You know, both teams have the exact same style of lineup, right? You have the safe laner that's not a true one position, the Lifestealer, and the Gyrocopter, who almost play off their one positions, right? You have this big tanky Shadow Fiend that can just sit there in the front lines, and then usually you play off this the Templar Assassin in the same way, where she has the Aegis and the Blink Dagger, and she can just jump in these team fights and free up space for the other carries, but for one team it's happening, another team it's just not.
Exactly.
You know, a lot has to do with Roshan. And the start, of course.
At the start is the big thing for me. I mean, and that's really where the Tusk comes in, and that's why I liked the pick so much when they did grab it.
Yeah.
It was able to get a lot done in that mid lane for CCNC. And he's come back nicely, but again, he's still not at Armel's level.
Yep, definitely. And TA, honestly, this is not really a comeback hero. It's I'm ahead. You know, I had a good start, had a good lane phase, able to get my Blink Deso, you know, pretty early into the game, and two-shot people. Once people start building up armor and ways to survive the TA burst, it's just... you can't really operate in team fights because you lose your refraction charges so quickly, your BKB duration runs out. It's just not the same.
Right. And you could see it too, not just armor, but the butterfly, which of course gives a bit of both that invasion as well as the armor because you have the agility to work with.
Yep.
So now how do you deal with it? MKB is not really in the cards for the TA, at least not yet. He's trying to finish off his Hurricane Pike first and foremost. And it's only going to get worse for Optic, as now TNC have picked up the map control item. The Gem of True Sight is up on Tim's, ready to go. So they want to try to get some more map vision and take this last outer tower in the bottom lane and get ready for the next Roshan as well, I would assume.
Yeah, well, at least TA is still a pretty difficult hero to gank with the refraction and Blink Dagger interaction, right? Even if he gets Blink coiled, he can blink out afterwards. So you can split push pretty freely to stall out the game a bit so Gyro can keep on farming, Tiny can keep on farming. And perhaps, you know, find some openings that way. Oh, man.
3-3 in trouble. They have the gem, obviously, so they have the detection. They even drop a sentry. Snowball will come in. There's the Death Ward, and 3-3 will try to walk through. He actually forces himself through the Ice Shard that are now fallen. The Illusion Orb from Sam H. He does have the Dream Coil. He will use it. 3-3 will Avalanche, but they get off the Waning Rift in time, and 3-3 should still fall as Armel's coming in with a Raise or an auto attack will do just fine, and that will secure the kill. So now 3-3 dead for 53 seconds.
And that's a godlike Shadow Fiend who almost has a full butterfly, sitting on 5,000 gold.
Dude, he just feels impossible to deal with right now, and they haven't even really had a go at him yet. He hasn't really been run at. He hasn't been ganked at any point in this game.
Well, the scary thing is he's going to have that butterfly while he still has the Aegis, and then you can just hit high ground with that, right?
They do want to get this last tier 2, though, in the meantime.
Yes, that is true. It's just free gold for them to collect at the moment. Why not?
The Aegis is actually not too long for this world. It's only 30 seconds left before it is reclaimed.
They're not going to hit that timing where he can just push with the butterfly and Aegis.
But it's going to set them up so well for the next Roshan, which of course is Aegis and Cheese. CCNC wants to be able to get this this top tier 2 tower. He's unable to do so because Raven was just hitting him. It's forced him to blink away. But the tower is in deny range. In the meantime, on the other side, Tim's is looking for Zai. They've got the call down. Pycat is trying to fight. There's going to be the BKB. Armel knows that he has this Aegis. They've got the Fiend's Grip, but he's going to be saved by the Snowball.
Nice
PPD has to run, and he will get caught and killed with another double raise from Armel.
Oh man, Tim's not dying there to the call down and gyro damage, which is huge. Able to reset that. Very nice.
You heard the Aegis be reclaimed too, so maybe if they had that full Fiend's Grip, the Aegis is gone, and maybe Armel dies had Tim's not been there. But instead, now they will find CCNC. The Snowball comes in, and he is in trouble. He's going to try to fight onto Tim's, but it's not going to be enough. The Refraction is already done. The Mel Strike does literally nothing to Armel. He's so tanky at this point, and that'll be a dead CCNC for 70 seconds.
Very unlucky. That's what I call that.
Unlucky?
Oh, it was close, actually.
Yeah.
You know, he almost got the TP off. He's split pushing. It's exactly what he needs to do to stay relevant in this game. It's just, you know, sometimes you get caught.
Oh, my friend, Zai has the meme hammer.
Excellent.
He's got it ready. One of the few heroes that will build this item straight up. The next assassin.
He knows what's good in life.
he's got the great old item, the game-winning item even.
He's been to many countries and he knows what's good in life, Mod. The meme hammer.
If there's anybody I trust to build it, it's probably Zai. He's trying to find Sam H. Maybe he gets an impale, he can get off the meteor hammer, but no.
Pretty tanky puck though, building towards that Aghanim Scepter, so no real kill threat.
Good split push from Optic down in this bottom lane. They've actually done a little bit of damage to this tier 3. Not much, just some slight damage to the tier 3 tower. And meanwhile, Meteor Hammer onto the puck. He phase shifts it, unfortunately for Zai. And now he's getting run at. The Spike Carapace will go, but Armel is in, and the Snowball will come in. They do miss the second raise, but the auto attack damage from Armel and the last raise is enough to secure yet another kill.
Oh, this game is just a nightmare. What do you do against the Shadow Fiend?
If they can somehow kill the Shadow Fiend, they might be able to win the game, because look at the net worth graph. It's still even at this point of the game, and this is with Roche taken. This is with the Aegis going their way. The tier 2 tower bottom lane is still there. It's just the Shadow Fiend. It almost feels impossible to deal with. Maybe when the Gyrocopter gets more farm, maybe when the TA can get this Bloodthorn that she's trying to buy next, they can finally bring down this SF.
Yeah, Gyro and SF almost have the exact same items, just an S and Y on top of the Shadow Fiend, but still, it doesn't feel like Gyro can fight the Shadow Fiend at all, does it?
No.
Not even close.
No. Armel's too huge. He's level 21 now. He's got the extra Shadow Raise damage to work with in the talents. We haven't really talked about Raven all this time, but he's still farming. He's slowed down a little bit, obviously, but he's working on a Lincoln Sphere, and that makes him kind of unkillable as well.
Yeah, definitely. When he has the Lincoln Sphere with the BKB, he can just ignore the Bane entirely in fights. It'll be really good. And then with Puck going for the Ags Coil too, you won't be able to run from Lifestealer. It's a good choice.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
like it. Especially with his start. You know, he's not that farmed. He's not going to be able to get to a whole lot of these bigger items later on in the game. Don't really have the luxury to go for things like Yules. It's not going to make that big of a difference. It's a good adaptation.
Well, let me ask you in Optic's regard, how do you feel about 3-3 on the Tiny? It just feels like to me he hasn't had the biggest impact despite having all of this farm.
I think it's hard for him to do much with his items at the current state of the game. While he does offer a whole lot of split push pressure, there's not really many heroes he can kill. You know what I mean? Or at least the ones that he can't kill are not the heroes that push out these lanes. You have Lifestealer, who's got, you know, a ridiculous amount of health pushing out these lanes. Shadow Fiend, same thing.
Yeah.
All he can really do is, you know, split push around the map, try to keep these lanes out so that they can look for some plays.
Both teams are keeping the waves pushed pretty far out, to be fair. Tim's was looking for something, but he doesn't want to lose the gem. He also has a Lifestealer inside of him, so he needs to be careful. The Hurricane Pike for TA is done, and she is now building to the MKB instead of that Bloodthorn.
Oh.
Meanwhile, 3-3 has been found. The Dream Coil is there. They should have the detection. The cast will come in along with the Death Ward and Maledict, and that is more than enough for Armel to find yet another kill.
Wowzers.
And now is up to a Reaver. Meanwhile, they have found CCNC, who is refracted. Tim's, he misses the Melt Strike. I think it was onto the Frozen Sigil accidentally. The Meteor Hammer is going to come out, and it does hit onto Raven. This will allow them to TP away. Zai's actually going to make it out, too. Nice play with Zai being there with the Impale Meteor Hammer to secure the CCNC TA a safe exit.
Yeah, very nice indeed. And that playstyle right there, right, with the Nyx Assassin and Templar Assassin just sitting in the, well, a lot of Assassins, just sitting in the side lanes, right, looking for these potential pickoffs and just, you know, stall the game out. Push out these lanes. Look at the net worth all of a sudden. TA ahead of Lifestealer somehow.
Yeah, that's...
You know, they're catching back up.
They are, but Zai's in trouble as Armel's chasing after him. He's got the flutter move speed, but he doesn't want to go too far. This is kind of how Optic, I feel like, got back into the game yesterday. They kind of just kept the waves pushed out with the Pycat and Zai.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. He actually died with the Maledict. That's a little unfortunate for Zai, but...
What kind of doctor is that guy?
He's one that doesn't... He definitely does not function under the Hippocratic Oath, let me tell you.
Oh, man.
So...
Optic are scaling, which is good, of course. But how the heroes actually match up against each other is another story, right?
And TNC are, I think, fairly confident with how this game is going.
Yep.
It's the next Roche that is the big deal, and it had just respawned a moment ago. And this is where it gets tough for Optic. And if TNC can get this Aegis and Cheese, they might be able to take a lot more than just high ground. They can get tier 3, they can get racks, they might be able to finish the game with this particular Aegis and Cheese combination. Now that they have the Satanic on Armel, he was already unkillable before, he's even more unkillable now.
Yep.
Especially with the Aegis getting picked up on him, I would assume.
Would that be unkillable?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Double unkillable.
But yeah, this game, the net worth is so close, right? Both teams need something like the Aegis and Cheese to get to that next stage of the game, so they can actually, you know, start looking to be aggressive and attack each other's bases. Because right now they just don't have that extra item to get there.
And now they have an AC picked up for the Lifestealer as well. If there was ever a go time for TNC, it would be now. But the one thing they do need to take care of is this is bottom wave pushing in.
Yep.
And Pycat is going to sit down here, and they're baiting him. He's attacking the wave. He has used his flat cannon. He's got a full MKB. The 3-3 is invised up. They have the smoke ready to go. The Illusion Orb will come through. Everybody's going to back up together for TNC. They seem to know something is up, and they don't want to lose anybody to this bait down bottom.
It's a nice play. They managed to make Shadow Fiend TP in. So now they know, oh, SF TP. He's the strongest hero on the map currently. We'll dodge him and push out the other two lanes.
Exactly. That's where they're headed now. And by the time they get there, TNC will be on their way to pushing bottom. But will they be forced back to defend another lane is the question. They really want to try to get high ground here for TNC, or pick off. One of those two would be fine.
Yep, they're in position to force that next objective, and it's just up to Optic to keep pushing these lanes out and dodge. But TNC have some pretty good catch tools, right? Blink Tusk with Gem. You have Puck with the Lifesteal inside with the Axe Coil.
Yeah, that
Not
Axe
the
Coil.
easiest thing to dodge in the world.
No, that Axe Coil is going to be huge for TNC. And again, SamH, we talked a lot about CCNC and the rest of Optic coming back, but he's had a pretty good comeback as well. And again, just that Axe, just having that item is going to be enough for TNC maybe to win a fight.
Yeah. He has that luxury of being able to just be a purely utility-based hero, right? Doesn't need to deal a whole lot of damage. All he really has to do is get in there, blink coil, and that's it. His job's done.
They have a DD on the Shadow Fiend, and they are going to try to pressure high ground in this mid lane. The tier 3 tower getting assaulted, and watch this thing fall. PPD is going to Nightmare him for the time being, but they will take it off, I'm sure. They're going to infest it, and they blow away PPD. He does have buyback. The Ominous will come in. There's the buyback coming up from PPD. They have found SamH, but he's not quite dead yet. The side trap about to be dropped. He will get auto-attacked, and he's done. They use the Dream Coil, and now the Death Ward comes in, but this is going to be trouble. CCNC getting taken a lot of damage. They've got the Requiem coming out, but he's not dead yet. The coil is still there. They will finally force him back. He is going to survive, and that is no Puck now for 50 seconds, so Optic will be able to find a kill and hold on to this tier 3 tower for at least another few moments.
Solid defense. At the cost of a Bane buyback, they were able to hold for a few more minutes without TNC being able to push. Very nice.
Some extra gold for CCNC along the way, and now he is trying to build into that. Bloodthorn as his MKB is done. And they also forced out a couple of TPs to the top lane, and the wave was pushed so much that it actually did some damage to the tower. Not much again, but it's just something to keep TNC occupied so they can't get to that high ground, Brax.
Yep, that's the name of the game for Optic at the moment. They just need to keep on stalling.
We might be in for a long one if they can't finish this game off with this Aegis and Cheese for TNC.
That's correct. Maybe we'll see another Rapier Gyro.
I wouldn't be surprised. They definitely could use some damage, but he wants Satanic first.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a long game on. There'll be time.
And we'll see how it goes. We have the Aegis for another about 2 minutes or so. So there's that. But again, he has a Satanic anyway, so it's not like he's really easy to kill in the first place.
Yep, not easy to kill at all. It just guarantees him that safety so he can keep hitting the tower without having to use his BKB or worry about just dying flat out.
Both teams in the Radiant jungle. Zai will get off the Spike Carapace, but the Walrus Punch does come out. The Impale is hit. There's the Fiend's Grip, the Meteor Hammer. They're going to take down the Tusk. That might be the gem down on the deck. I think actually somebody else might have it instead. Armel, the Death Ward will come through. They've got the BKB, and now Zai trying to run. The call down will come in. They have found CCNC. He will use the meld, but they're trying to find him. They have the Waiting Rift to come out. He's going to try to bring down Cuckoo. Can't quite do it, and Armel secures a double kill, and that is CCNC dead for 76. And if you're TNC, you want to force out that buyback. I'm sure of it.
We'll see what 33 here can do.
He's looking for the Courier.
Needs to push out these lanes. Needs to cut some waves.
He will Shadow Blade. They have pinged him out. They know that he's there. And the gem was still on SamH. I thought it was still on Tim's, but it actually was on SamH the entire time. So
okay,
they had it just fine. No issues there.
All right, 50 seconds, no TA.
And they use the side trap in the mid lane, though, to cut the creep wave. But here we go. The high ground push. TNC about to get a tier 3 tower out of this, and that will open up the shrines to work with.
CCNC does have buyback, but how does he want to use it?
I'm not sure he wants to. They're about to lose this melee Rax. They have picked up the Satanic for the Gyrocopter, but this full set of Rax might just fall. He's up in 30 seconds. I don't know if TNC want to go for a second lane of Rax. They might just back up now.
Yeah, time to kill some shrines.
Oh, the increased bounty of the homing missile. An extra 50 gold for Raven.
Wowzers.
He's rich now, let me tell you. So it looked good for that start of the fight for Optic. They had the Tim's kill onto the Tusk, but too much follow-up coming in from TNC.
Yep, just no way to deal with Shadow Fiend, right? You had 3 heroes clicking Shadow Fiend down, but of course he's got Satanic, Butterfly, does not really care at all.
And there's the Aegis gone. But TNC will at least get a full set of racks out of it, and that will give them now a bit of a more significant lead, an 8K advantage for TNC. And they just need to get the next Aegis and Cheese and Refresher Shard. Zai used the Spike Carapace thinking he might have been gone on, but they will smoke instead and try to find him at a later date. But he's already gotten himself to safety for the most part, and CCNC is also backing away.
It's quite hard for them to jump the TA because you can always just blink out. There's not like a... it's pretty hard to layer these stuns properly against the TA.
And you predicted correctly the Gyrocopter's next item. It's not hard to predict at this point when you're down, you know, a set of racks and you need more damage. Rapier is the item, of course.
This is the item that you know, wins or loses the game there.
Dream Coil, they have found the Gyrocopter. He's popped his Satanic. He's trying to man-fight Raven. They've got the Fiend's Grip. The Snowball cancels it immediately, though. 3-3 in the backlines. They'll find somebody, but in the meantime, he's still alive. Armel has popped the BKB.
Alive.
Tim's is solo. CCNC trying to chase him down. Nobody dead yet. Zai getting lower and lower. Armel now with a Crimson Guard on him as well, and Zai will get dropped. It's the first kill of that fight, despite being super long-winded. The second will be Zai, forces the buyback immediately. Now they're going to head bottom. It's going to be a 4 versus 5 for Optic. No Satanic for the Gyrocopter. I think he also used his BKB, but so too did the rest of the team. Now they have found 3-3 on the backside. Tim's is going to be a little low, but I don't think 3-3 can do anything about it. In fact, he's dead. He's dead for 70, but he has the buyback as well. And so all of a sudden, TNC getting so many kills out of this. This might be another set of racks if Optic are not careful. They're going to try to go on Raven with the Meld Strike from CCNC, doing a lot of damage. Raven on the run. They won't lose the racks yet. They're still chasing up to the high ground. I don't know how far Optic do want to chase out of their base. The homing missile will go. Armel, he's got no BKB. He does have the Satanic ready to go. Sam H is there as well. They're trying to bring the homing missile down, but it will, in fact, hit him. They have the infest inside Armel. They've got the call down coming in. It's the impale that hits it. Here comes CCNC. The Meld Strike damage doing some work. The side blades. They've dropped one. They've dropped two. Can they get a third? Yes! Armel is dead, and Raven is on the run as well. The damage is there from CCNC. Sam H trying to TP out. Can he make it? Yes, he can. They don't have the stun from the Tiny. The Avalanche was not ready, and now Raven getting jumped on as well. He is pretty ticky. He's got the AC. He will rage. He will try to TP. The toss is there, but it's not onto Raven, and Raven will survive. But they do still get the kill on Armel. They're able to claw it back. They don't lose their racks, but they have to use so many buybacks to get to this position for Optic.
Still, Pycat got so much gold from that fight.
He's about to have Rapier.
He is. You know, that was at the cost of 2 buybacks for Optic, but still, that's totally worth it.
Oh.
And that was also the cheese being used on Raven's life story, too.
And here we're going to see it. The homing missile comes out.
There's nothing they can do about the missile. Puck's clicking it, but the projectiles are just too slow.
Somebody help me. They get off a good call down, and then Armel walks back into it, and they blow him away with CCNC and Pycat in 3-3, of course, getting in there where the BKB was not available, and that burst damage is there. When you can get the BKBs low enough or you can get them on cooldown, you can find these fight wins for Optic Gaming, and they do so there. And now TNC, they need to take a second. They still have a massive advantage. They still have a 1 racks lead.
Look at that. Double damage, Rapier, Satanic, BKB.
He's hitting pretty hard, let me tell you, man.
He is.
This Gyrocopter, is Pycat going to be able to do it again? Optic in general, they have taken 1 game off of VP earlier yesterday, of course, when they were down about 14K net worth, now down 8K, and it's not over yet. This Rapier, this is going to help them a lot, but the next big fight is going to be at Roshan, and guess what? It's 5 seconds from respawning, Brax.
This game is all about Roshan now for both teams, right? They need this Aegis and Cheese to, well, honestly, you just can't afford to give this Gyrocopter Aegis at all, especially when he has the Rapier.
They have found Tim's. He's in trouble. The Impale will come in. They've found Sam H. He's got a good Dream Coil. Tim's is still alive. The Guardian Grief. They've got the Fiend's Grip. Sam H. in trouble, getting blown up by CCNC. The Meteor Hammer's not even needed. It's a 2-for-1 trade so far. They found Raven on the back lines. The Lifestealer is dead, and Armel is on the run. He's got his BKB and Satanic, but they need to leave. This is the perfect fight for Optic. They can head right to Roche, get the Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shard.
And look at that. Thanks to the trap, they see Roshan. Jesus.
And this will fall quickly. Divine Rapier Gyrocopter. Look how fast this thing is dying. They've got a Desolator on the T8. This is their Roach. This is their Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shard going to Optic. Can they do it again? Oh my God.
I'm no stats man, but that's a large red number from Gyrocopter in these team fights.
Not surprising, I would say, considering the items he has. He is finally online. This entire game, he has not had the damage to deal with Armel. Now he does, Brax.
Isn't it funny how this hero works? Like, the early game, it's strong with all the magic damage. Mid-game, still pretty strong. Then when he hits that part where he gets BKB, he does really no physical damage at all, and then boom, Rapier.
You got to give credit to Optic to getting that point into the game.
Yes, they played very well throughout the mid and later parts of the game to help extend this game so we could get to this point.
It might have been considered boring, but the split push they did, it had a great impact on where we are at currently in this game. And of course, you still have a slight lead for TNC. You still have a Rax advantage, and we've seen 1 Rax advantage be critical in previous games recently. But
sure doesn't feel that way, does it?
Yeah. This is going to be difficult for TNC at this point. They will find Armel. The Impale misses. He gets off the BKB. Zai's in trouble. The Dream Coil will come out. They get off the Nightmare save, but he's still in trouble. They will actually bring Armel down. CCNC and Pycat go toe-to-toe with Armel, and he is dead for 95 seconds. This might be a buyback forced. And of course, I think he used the BKB there for Armel, so that's now down for another 50 seconds or so.
Even if he buys back, there's no way he can fight without the BKB.
This might just be a Rax for Optic. Sam H will come in. They've got the toss out, but Cuckoo's in trouble. He gets off the Ghost Scepter. Now Tim's is coming in with the Walrus Punch. Pycat will pop the Satanic, trying to stay alive. There's the Death Ward. Pycat needs to leave. He's going to get forced away. CNC will use his force as well to get himself out of trouble. They have done some severe damage, but they need to back off. They've gotten the tier 3. I don't know how far they want to go. It's a lot of damage already being done.
They can take this nice and slow.
They still have the Satanic down, but not for much longer. Plus, Pycat has the Aegis to work with and the Refresher Shard. 13 seconds left on the Satanic. SamH will jump in. They've got the cast. They've got the silence as well. Pycat doesn't seem too concerned. Cuckoo's taking a lot of damage from the flak, but he does get off the Ghost Scepter in time. The Avalanche is there. They need to toss back. They can't find it. The Glyph will go. Pycat's still up front. Satanic is now up. If they get a creep wave, he can heal back to full. Jumping in SamH. He pops the BKB. Here's the buyback. They want to get SamH, but he's able to jump away. The Rax is gone, but Pycat now the War's Punch. There's the Satanic going, and now they've got the feed scoop on Raven. He's in trouble. Armel's going to come in the raises, but PPD's got a full length grip, and they've gotten down Raven. At the very least, he's low, and he will get out to safety for now. Armel popping the Requiem. They've got the kill, at least under the touch. Now Pycat is chasing more into Armel. He's at 30 HP, but he will survive. They still get the racks in the back end. SamH is now on the run. He's going to be able to lose your orb and maybe jaunt through and get back to the base. Oh my god, I thought Raven was dead. I thought he was donezo.
I was worried because Pycat BKB'd before he died, but he also had the Refresher Shard, so it didn't really matter.
And that Refresher Shard and Aegis are now gone, but they did get the full set of racks, and they have gotten the gold net worth back in their favor.
So what happens now, Mon? Aegis and Cheese. Well, is Cheese gone too?
Yeah, it is, I think, yeah.
Everything's gone from Roshan. Do we wait so that Pycat doesn't happen to die with this Rapier? I mean, he's got another one in his quick buy. He could just farm up enough gold where he's got a backup Rapier with buyback.
With buyback, yeah. Oh, he just walked past another DD rune. I think it's go time again, if you want to use that DD at the very least.
It's like Christmas.
The big item that's coming out for the Lifestealer, I think he's trying to get to a Nullifier. In fact, he's got it now. That is huge against both CCNC and against Pycat.
Well, let's see what happens here.
I could have sworn the full duration grip was going to be enough to kill Raven, but it looks like he was able to survive it, and we're going to find out how he did.
He's quite tanky with that AC being complete.
Yeah, that's true.
And look at this. Pycat BKBs, but he's got the Refresher Shard, no big deal. Just sits there and mans up.
Yeah, they've got the Fiend's Grip there, and Raven got solo. I think they had a snowball save maybe from Tim's.
We even see Armel focus down PPD because they want to try to break the
Oh,
grid.
he got the Infest off, didn't he?
Yep, and that's all because Armel focused the Bane in the back instead of the damaging Gyrocopter. So, nice heads-up play.
Yeah, Armel, smart play there. He had to go for the raises. Now we will see 3-3 looking for a jump in, but the immediate blink back, I believe that was from Armel to keep him safe, or rather the Tim's blink back. Now they're going to infest in. Here we go. The fight's breaking. The Nullifiers there. That is Pycat dead for 100 seconds. He has no buyback. What a turnaround from TNC, and they're going to find more. CCNC is in trouble. He's getting low. One more auto attack. It's a double kill for Armel. What a fight for TNC. CCNC is forced to buyback, but you have Pycat dead for 85 seconds, and they want more. Zai is on the run. They have the urn on him, but they will not be able to chase him down, I don't believe. The Rapier is on the Shadow Fiend. Oh my lord.
Nullifier, huh? Pretty good item, apparently.
And now Pycat has no Rapier to work with, nor does he have the buyback. He's got it in 50 gold, actually, but he won't have the damage, I don't think.
I don't think this hero will do any damage without the Rapier. I think he was getting carried by the Rapier so hard that Optic might just flat out lose now.
Oh, they're going to
look at the split push from 33
They're trying with
bottom
3-3.
Yeah.
He's pushing in the waves into the tier 3 tower, but I think if you're TNC, you want to force out this Pycat buyback, which he does now have, and try to finish this game off. They had that Nullifier pickup for Raven was absolutely outstanding. 3-3 trying to get away. They have the Illusory Orb. They should have a Dream Coil as well. He actually misses. What a blink from 3-3 to get out in time, and that's going to save Pycat's buyback potentially.
Yeah, that was the entire mid wave. Very nicely done.
And Zai will also go for TP, but he's in trouble. They've got the cask, and now Zai should fall. He's going to Vendetta, but they've got the detection. They've got the Walrus Punch, and that is a dead Nyx Assassin. He will use the Ghost Scepter, but he's going to get dropped one way or the other. He has no buyback, so he's dead for 73.
Okay.
And now it's up to the Gyrocopter to farm up another Rapier, but he's not anywhere close at all.
Where'd all that cash go, boy?
I'm not sure, actually. He built a Scotty, I think.
He did?
Yeah, so he wanted to be tanky, but that lost him his buyback, and that lost him his other opportunity at the Divine Rapier. Hey, guess what? There's another DD at the top rune spot.
All right. We got a whole bunch of DDs in this game.
The Blueberry Rune is really cropping up, let me tell you.
That's a pretty good one last time I checked.
Yeah.
So how do they deal with this Nullifier, you know, with any vehicle, right? Even the Tusk, the Puck. There's nothing they could actually do about it. Right? Gyrocopter won't be able to BKB, won't be able to Satanic. sits there and just gets slowed by it over and over. Sounds miserable.
Yeah, this is now rough for Optic, and TNC, got to give him credit. The nullifier from Raven, what a choice. And they have now taken control back over the net worth advantage. Roshan not up for another at least minute and 20 seconds, and that's what they're waiting for, I would assume. Get that next Aegis cheese and refresher shard and go from there.
Yep, definitely. They still have to deal with the lane pressure all the time, right? Because you can't spread your lineup too thin against Optic's team. You have Nyx Assassin, who can just be, camping these side lanes. TA pushes at the lane super fast. Tiny, same thing. Gyro, same thing. They'll annihilate those.
So Pycat, he gets to another Rapier. He's got a shot, but can he get to that point? And can he do it without giving away the next Roshan?
Right, and then also fighting up against the Rapier on the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, on the Shadow Fiend, yeah.
Not easy.
Good news for these teams. Armel down to a 5-second BKB. I think Gyro is also pretty low, and he's got a 5-second BKB as well. So both BKB durations down pretty far. So Refresher Shard is that much better for whatever team gets it.
Yeah, true. A lot of the times you think, oh, Refresher Shard, Tide Hunter, Enigma, these big ultimate, based heroes, right? But in the late game, a double BKB, double Satanic can just mean even more than that, right?
Yeah.
That's all you need.
It keeps your big late game carry alive, allowing them to do more damage. TNC will smoke up at the perfect time, as they know it's about to be 8 minutes for the Roche respawn, the initial respawn rather. Everybody from Optic is nearby. Zai is in Viz. They will see Cuckoo with an Observer Ward who he will counter immediately, and now Optic will back up together, and TNC will do the same. They're still looking for Roche. The Roche respawn is 2 minutes. It's a long duration respawn.
Look at this top lane, though. On the side of TNC, they're going to have to answer this pretty soon.
And this is how Optic has stayed in the game. It's the split push. They've already taken the racks, obviously, so that means that Wave always is constantly pushing in. But bottom's doing an okay job, but now TNC have pushed in mid, and now they're going to head for this bottom set of racks. And look at the damage. The tier 3 is gone. They have Glyph. This racks might just be gone. TNC about to get a second set and just back themselves away. They don't even want the other building. They will just back up. Happily accomplished at least one building dropped down. The ranged racks, and they will get themselves back to safety.
Well, that's one way to deal with split push, right? Walk into the enemy base, they all have to TP back because there's so much physical damage coming out.
Tier 4 is taking a little bit of harass on the other side. I've seen that before. Keep your tier 4s alive, boys.
That's right, you need them.
It's going to be critical. Now, there's no Underlord in this game, obviously, but still.
All right, Gyro, he's getting close to Rapier. Almost there. He's got no boots, but don't need him. He flies.
He's pretty speedy with the flutter, especially.
He's got 530 for moves when he flutters anyways. Who needs boots?
Yeah.
He's an agility hero.
He's a little bit slower when he gets no flutter. It's 403. It's not that bad, though. Yeah. Honestly, I think they have to have a Rapier on him to even have a shot. And the good news is the Roche respawn was a little bit longer. That makes it a little bit easier for him to farm that up, but he's still not there yet. He's still a little ways away.
Yep, he needs a couple more minutes.
Plus, he won't have buyback if he does buy the Rapier straight out.
Well, I feel like at this point in the game, it's a risk you just have to take.
Exactly.
If you die once, game's probably over anyways.
All right, Roche, another 40 seconds away. And
both teams, you can see how big this Roshan is for them. The tension around the pit.
They have a sigil on top of it. They also have a side trap as well, which will be countered. Gem of Sam H, who now is a Lincoln Sphere. A 16K net worth lead for TNC, but at this point of the game, who knows what can happen.
Yep. Even if Pycat manages to get the Rapier, there's still no answer for the Nullifier on Lifestealer, right? You can't really stay alive without the use of the BKB.
Oh, they have another DD for Optic.
Well, there we go.
And Roshan is literally about to spawn. This is a critical juncture in this game.
Do they know, though?
This is going to be win or lose for one of these teams.
Pycat does have the Rapier with double damage, and they're smoked up.
They have found Tim's. They don't go on him. He blinks away in time, and now he's together with the rest of his team. And they are on the high ground on the opposing side of the map.
Optic in a pretty awkward spot. Gyro, no boots, not the most mobile.
And the DD is slowly dwindling away, and they know that it's up, or they should at the very least. We'll see who takes the fight first. They're going to jump in. Zai gets a double impale off, and Sam H is ready to go. And CCNC on the high ground looking for Cuckoo. He gets the Ghost Scepter. CCNC is separated from the team of the Hurricane Pike. Not enough to nullify. He's dead for 120, and now it's up to the Gyrocopter. Can they do this? Pycat, he's got the DD, he's got the Flak Cannon, but Armel is in, and it's 2 dead already for Optic. Game has to buy back. 3-3 pushing Pycat back, but he's in trouble. Satanic will go, and Armel man fighting brings him down. PPD and Bane, and of course the Pycat Gyrocopter all falling, and that will be Rapier on the deck. That'll be TNC grabbing the Roshan, the Aegis, the Cheese, the Refresher Shard, and potentially the game. Brax, what a turnaround for TNC there.
I feel like there's just no way for them to fight. Like, Gyro's waddling in and out of these fights, but you just can't get in a position with TNC just sitting on the high ground there. Even with the Rapier, it's like he dies in the punch duration from Tusk. And now Tusk has his Rapier, so the punch is gonna one-shot.
He's got the great old punch. Does he have the yeah, he's got the 12% chance Walrus punch on the Tusk. And here we go to tier 4s they go. TNC trying to finish this game off. Zai and PPD, they can just sit back and watch. They'll try to throw out some spells, but the Glyph will go. Slowly but surely, TNC will be able to whittle off this last tier 4 tower, and maybe the Ancient along with it as Sam H jumps in, and there's the GG. TNC will take it. What a hard-fought game. A great start to today's action, Brax.
Yes, indeed. And I think after this game, we can conclude that both these teams are very good.
Dude, they were on another level. They were playing back and forth action. Good split push from Optic, good gameplay, but TNC, Armel getting off to that fast start.
That explosive start was just, honestly, so hard to come back from, right? Because all of a sudden this TA who you want to dominate and control the pace of the other game, just not happening, right?
Man, that was an incredible game. You got to give credit to TNC for holding on also. They were down net worth at the point where they lost that top set of racks. They didn't falter. They said, listen, let's get a nullifier on Raven, on the Lifestealer, and just go to work on Pycat. He didn't have the Aegis. He wasn't able to get the Satanic or BKB off. And then at that point, it's just over for Pycat, and the Rapier's gone.
That was like the big, oh, shit moment of the game, right?
Yeah.
When Gyrocopter just gets popped with the nullifier instantly. It's like, oh, God, what do we do now?
What a back-and-forth game, man. You can see the scoreboard here. It's pretty incredible.
You know, the net worth distribution throughout the entire game was so weird, right? It was only like a 1 or 2K gold lead for TNC, but it was so heavily focused on the Shadow Fiend. Puck suffered a lot in the net worth department. In exchange, Tiny had a bit more net worth, but still, Shadow Fiend was untouchable the entire game, pretty much.
Yeah, Sam H made some big plays at the end of the game, too, when he actually started getting farmed. The Ag Dream Coil, pretty big pickup, I would say, and then the Lincoln Sphere at the end of the game as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But
it's so good with the Lifestealer, too, because you just can't kite him.
Yeah. I mean, there was the few minutes there where they were able to kill both the Lifestealer and Armel, but it just kind of sort of dwindled out of control once they lost that Aegis. Losing that Aegis, actually, not killing Raven, the Lifestealer, when they had him in that Fiend's grip, I think was bigger than we anticipated. Because he dies there. He has to use buyback or something. He doesn't have enough money for the Nullifier.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty significant, actually.
Right, and that was after TNC had to commit the Shadow Fiend buyback just to try to hold there, too. And Lifestealer survives on a sliver of health.
Yeah. So the MVP for me, I mean, for you,
pretty clear.
Yeah, you think so? Armel?
Yes.
I would say so as well. I think that that's probably the choice, I would assume.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah. We'll see it. There it is. Armel coming out, 22 kills.
My goodness.
He didn't die until, I don't know, minute like 30 or something along those lines.
Check it. He's got a little Shadow Fiend effect as well. Look
yeah,
at that.
He is the SF Arcana, essentially. Armel had a fantastic game. And we were talking about this new player coming in. You know, he's obviously an SEA legend. He's been around on a lot of different teams in that region. Finally coming in on a big stage and able to do so much. And you're going to see a lot of it here with these highlights as well. And Armel, of course, so big, but you can't, of course, not talk about the rest of TNC who had a great game. But here we go. Optic trying to fight this Roshan.
How it zones out Pycat from the back. He knows once those BKBs come off that there's just no way that the flat cannon damage is going to even be enough or even close to enough.
And I think that was the first Aegis, and Armel was able to take it there, and they were able to finish off the fight and get the, of course, fight win. So this is where it all started going bad originally for Optic. They couldn't get the Aegis. They give the to Armel. They get a lot more map control. But this is where it turns around for Optic.
Sad. Look at this missile.
Missile hits. They can't do anything about it. The Impale only hits onto Tim's, but they come back in, and then CNC with great positioning, jumping in, the side blade splashing all over the place, the Meteor Hammer, and then Tiny getting him focused down with that big burst damage. And Raven, of course, getting chased as well. Great turnaround fight for Optic. This was the start of the comeback, I would say. Raven trying to get through. He did have the Rage TP, I believe, at the end of this to keep himself alive. The toss just a little bit too late, unfortunately, onto the, I think it was Zai, I'm pretty sure. So,
yeah, so close.
Pycat able to take the racks here. A big fight, and this is where the turning point could have happened. They had Raven in the Fiend's grip. That was not going to be enough, though. Raven was able to escape.
Gets so close to dying.
And you'll see it here in a moment. It's in that fest that gets him back out to safety. And this is the Aegis going down as well for Pycat, which is pretty significant. The Fiend's Grip comes out. It's a full duration Fiend's Grip up until Armel comes in and starts beating PPD to death. A great target focus from Armel, absolutely crushing it. So, man, what a back and forth game. So many good fights, Brax.
You know, it looked so scary just because of how out of control the Shadow Fiend was, but the game was close still.
Yeah, it was really close. A lot of that coming in from that off-lane discrepancy. Of course, 3-3 having a pretty good game.
This was the big nullifier fight.
Yeah, this
Raven
is
just explode Pycat.
Yeah, and then CCNC was next, getting too much damage. The double kill for Armel. He was significant at that point. And Zai is able to get away, I believe, with the Urn, but in the meantime, this is one of the last fights. CCNC, that blank, unfortunate. He gets put into the trees. He tries to get forced down. He was so close to getting down to the ground.
He just can't get into the fight at all.
Once CCNC is up there, that fight is essentially over. They lose PPD a moment later. He has to buy back, but he has to waddle all the way back to the fray. Pycat gets tossed back, trying to save his life. The Satanic goes. It's not enough, and Armel able to finish him off along with Raven doing a lot of that damage there. I got to say, one of my favorite games so far, I think it has to be. I think it was even better maybe than the Optic Virtus Pro game that we saw yesterday.
It was super exciting.
Yeah.
Right, one team had a clear lead in the early game, but other team was managing to come back, and they kind of negated the early game, honestly, right? We had the TA came back and farm. It was good.
Really good first game. So with that said, we will take a quick break. We gotta dry ourselves off. I'm getting a little sweaty with all that action coming in.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, you can see it. But we will have game 2 coming around the corner, and I believe that is going to be Complexity versus Mineski, another very hype matchup.
Should be a really good one.
Yes. So with that said, we'll take a quick break, and we'll jump back in when we're ready. Stick around, guys. We'll see you soon.
Ready. Steady. Game on.
Coming up next, Complexity Gaming versus Mineski.